This is a tutorial on how to hack into pretty much any program running on your computer using Cheat Engine. Now, before we get into specifics of what Cheat Engine actually does, let's look at our target. Today's target is a game called Dead Space 3, released in 2013 by EA Games. I chose this target specifically because the developers had the audacity to charge for in-game resources in a game that already costs around 60 bucks. So as you can see right here, we have two resource packs that we can buy for the low price of $1.99 or $2.99. In these resources packs, we get a special stupid item that we can't get pretty much anywhere else, whatever, but we also get various resources. Right here, like 240 tungsten. You can get these through normal gameplay, but it would obviously be way quicker to obtain them by paying for it. Now, what we're going to use to actually obtain these is another in-game item called ration seals. These are gained over the course of the game, but you gain them at a very slow rate. The save that I'm on currently, I've actually played through the entire game. I've only managed to get 60 ration seals, which is enough to buy the bigger pack. I want to buy more of these, but I'm not going to jump right into getting the ration seals quite yet, just because I only have 60 of them and the game automatically saves as I use resources. So if I run out of resources, I can't actually do this hack, and you'll see why in just a second. So instead, let's look at some of our other resources. Apparently I've lost the mouse on this. Whatever. You can see in the bottom left that I have 16,000 scrap metal. And to make this ammo clip, I need 100. 16,000 is nice and all, but I'd kind of like more. So how are we going to do that? Well, let me introduce to you Cheat Engine. Now, what is Cheat Engine? Cheat Engine is a program that scans through the memory that is being used by another program, allows you to find a specific address, and then change the value of that address. And I'll demonstrate what exactly you can do with that in just a minute, but we'll start by setting up the program. So if we go to this nice blinking red and green button, it says select a process to open. So we're going to find the executable for Dead Space 3, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's deadspace3.exe, and we're going to open that. Nothing apparent really happens at first, unless you actually do a scan. And right here you can see it's looking for a value to scan for. So let's go back into the game real quick, and we can see that we have 16,000 scrap metal, which is the resource we're trying to get more of. So if we type that resource into the value right here, and we do a first scan for it, it's going to return to us every single memory address that has the value of 16,000. And as you can see here, the game happens to have 31 of those address values. It's really kind of hard to narrow down which memory address is which from this. So we kind of have, it's kind of like a puzzle game to figure out which address is which. So what you do, or my technique for this is, first off, kind of go in and out of the game. That generally will get rid of some of these and change their values. In this case, it didn't. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to spend some scrap metal. So if we construct an item, it'll cost us 100 scrap metal, and now we're down to 15,900. Since this list is so small, I can actually look for it through it and see that this value right here happened to change to 15,900. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to the address list, which is kind of like a quick bar for addresses. And we're going to give it a name real quick. This is scrap metal. And see the address there, not that that's really important. The type is a 4-byte address. But the most important part is the value. Now, I can change the value, and whatever I change here will change in the game as well. So I'm just going to give myself a small loan of 1 million scrap metal. And as you can see, it changed there. It doesn't usually change in the game right away until you kind of go out and have that memory value reload, but there we go. We now have 1 million scrap metal. So what else can we do with this? Well, we don't have to specifically modify our inventory. We can also modify the inventory of anything that happens to have a number. In this case, the top portion of my gun, which happens to have 61 rounds left. I kind of like more than that, so we're going to try to get into that now. So what we go is go back to Cheat Engine here. Let me actually get it up on the screen there. And we reset the scan. And we're going to look for all values that have a value of 61. And we're going to scan. This one happened to turn back a lot, 1400. And as you can see, the top one is obviously not what we're looking for because it seems to be changing throughout. It looks to be some type of timer. Maybe I'll mess with that later. We'll see what it does. Weird timer. I'll save that for later. So what we're going to do in this case is we can't really look through this by eye. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Next Scan. So what is that going to do? It's going to return to us all values that were 61 on the first scan and 61 at the moment I clicked the next scan. So if we do that, it actually got rid of some of the values. It got rid of that weird timer who still seems to be incrementing for some reason. And the list still isn't narrowed down enough. So let's actually modify the value in-game. How are we going to do that? Well, we're just going to fire a round. Or 2 in this case. So now our clip's at 59. So if we go search 59 and we click Next, it's going to return to us all values that were 61 in the first scan, 61 in the second scan, and 59 in the last scan, of which there only happens to be 1. So let's add that, because that is most likely their ammo clip. There we go. Alright, so let's change it. Let's change it to something reasonable, but still bigger than the previous ammo clip. There we go. So, as you can see, it obviously couldn't hold all the 9s that I gave it. But in game, it is some ridiculous value, and I assume it's only the amount that it's displaying is glitched. Because as you can see in the cheat engine, it's actually going down, but on the game it's not. Generally games don't like it when you do stuff like this, which is why it tends to not exactly work out as you expected. But hey, I still have a gun that can pretty much fire forever. Let's get back to those ration seals, now that we actually know what we're doing. So as I kind of demonstrated before, the easiest way to figure out a specific memory address is to modify it from within the game somehow. Which is why I didn't want to straight go to this, because I only have 60 of these and I only have 2 chances to get this right. So, we're going to do the whole, what I just explained again. So we're going to do new scan. We're going to look for 60, of which there happens to be 3,600 memory values. So obviously I'm not going to narrow that down by hand. So I'm going to buy one of these. Hoping this works. Yes, I want to buy this. So now I'm down to 30. So I'm going to do a scan for 30. Oh, and look at that. It worked. Rename it. And let's just give ourselves 1 million. Sounds good to me. Go back. Check it out. And we now have 1 million ration seals. And we can buy the big pack as much as we want. Uh-oh. We're Well, this gives me a good chance to explain how this can actually. Oh wait, no, 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 no. I clicked the wrong button. My bad. I still have a million ration seals. If you hit enter, it tries to buy it with real money, not the ration seals. Okay, my bad. This concludes my tutorial on Cheat Engine. I hope you enjoyed.